My dear students, today I am going to explain average rate of reaction and instantaneous rate of reaction. Average rate of reaction means rate of reaction calculated for long time interval during the progress of the reaction. Average rate of reaction. Rate of reaction calculated for long time interval during the progress of the reaction is called average rate of reaction. Instantaneous rate of reaction. Rate of reaction calculated at any instant during the progress of the reaction. Both are rate of reactions only. Only the difference is it gives rate of reaction for long time interval, but it gives rate of reaction at any instant during the progress of the reaction. At a particular time, it gives rate of reaction. Slope between 2 points gives average rate of reaction. Slope between 2 points gives average rate of reaction. Slope between 2 points gives average rate of reaction. Slope of the tangent. Slope of the tangent gives instantaneous rate of reaction. Slope between 2 points gives average rate of reaction. Slope of the tangent gives instantaneous rate of reaction. See, for example, I am taking CT graph, concentration time graph. CT graph means concentration time. Concentration time graph. As the time increases, concentration decreases. As the time increases, concentration decreases. I am taking concentration 0, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 1. Time 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Whether it is seconds or minutes. This is called CT graph. CT, concentration time graph. Take any 2 points. I am taking these 2 points. I am taking 2 points. Just extend these 2 points towards concentration and towards time. So here rate of reaction, average rate of reaction. Rate of reaction or dc by dt. Slope between 2 points. Slope formula y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Here y2 0.6 minus 0.4 divided by 0.6 minus 0.4 divided by time 20 minus 10. This value 0.2 by 10, 0.02. Slope between 2 points gives average rate of reaction. Take CT graph, concentration time graph. As time increases, concentration decreases. As time increases, concentration decreases. This is concentration, this is time. Take any 2 points. I am taking these 2 points. For these 2 points, slope is 0.02. Slope formula y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. y2 0.6 minus y1 0.4. 0.6 minus 0.4 divided by time 20 minus 10. 0.2 by 10, 0.02. Slope between 2 points gives average rate of reaction. Slope of the tangents, concentration, time, slope of this tangent. For this curve, draw one tangent. It gives instantaneous rate of reaction. Slope between 2 points gives average rate of reaction. Slope of the tangent gives instantaneous rate of reaction. I'll give one general example to understand this average rate of reaction and instantaneous rate of reaction. In physics also we have average speed and instantaneous speed. So average speed, instantaneous speed. For example, a car driver starts his journey from Bangalore to Mysore at 9 a.m. A car driver starts his journey from Bangalore to Mysore at 9 a.m. At that time, odometer reading is 1000 kilometers. In that car, at that time, odometer reading is 1000 kilometers. At 11 a.m., he reaches Mysore. At that time, odometer reading is 1200 kilometers. Then his average speed is equal to 1200 minus 1000 divided by 11 minus 9, 200 by 200. His average speed is 100 kilometers per hour. His average speed is 100 kilometers per hour. Does it mean he travels 100 kilometers per hour at all the time? No, it is not correct. His average speed is 100 kilometers per hour depending on road condition. If road condition is good, he may travel 150 kilometers per hour. If road condition is not good, just 20 kilometers per hour. He might have stopped for lunch break or breakfast. He might have stopped for breakfast. At that time, his speed is 0 kilometers per hour. That means his average speed is 100 kilometers per hour, but his instantaneous speed, if the road condition is good, at that time his instantaneous speed is 100 kilometers per hour. Road condition is not good means just 20 kilometers per hour. For having breakfast, he stopped. At that time his instantaneous speed is 0. So both are different. Here his average speed is 100 kilometers per hour, but instantaneous speed, it depends on that road condition or conditions. It depends on that conditions. Next, factors affecting on rate of reaction. Factors affecting on rate of reaction. First one, chemical nature of the reactants. Chemical nature of the reactants. Reactions occurring between ionic compounds are faster than reactions occurring between covalent compounds. Reactions occurring between ionic compounds are faster than the reactions occurring between covalent compounds. See, for example, if we take aqueous solution of AgNO3, aqueous silver nitrate, aqueous sodium chloride gives rise to AgCl plus NaNO3 are formed. when aqueous solutions of silver nitrate and sodium chloride are mixed. Within the fraction of seconds, AgCl PPT is formed. This is a very fast reaction. If we take acetic acid plus ethyl alcohol, CH3COOC2H5 plus H2O are formed. This is slow reaction. When compared to this reaction, this is a slow reaction. In this reaction, reactants are ionic compounds. But in the second reaction, reactants are covalent compounds. Reactions occurring between ionic compounds are faster than reactions occurring between covalent compounds. This is because in case of ionic compounds, no bond breaking, no bond making. Simply ions, oppositely charged ions combines. Ag plus ions and Cl minus ions will combine and form AgCl. Na plus ions and NO3 minus ions combine and form NaNO3. Whereas in case of covalent compounds, covalent reactions involve bond breaking and bond making. The bonds present between the reactants are cleaved and new bonds are formed in the products. That's why covalent reactions are slow reactions. Reactions occurring between ionic compounds are faster than the reactions occurring between covalent compounds. This is because ionic reactions, in case of ionic reactions, no bond breaking, no bond making. Whereas in case of covalent compounds, reactions involve bond breaking and bond making. That's why covalent reactions are slow reactions. If we take these two covalent reactions, NO plus O2, NO2, NO plus O2, NO2, nitric oxide, when reacts with oxygen, nitrogen dioxide is formed. Methane, on reaction with oxygen, CO2 plus H2O are formed. If we take these two reactions, both are covalent reactions only. Both are covalent reactions. In case of these two reactions, see, first reaction involves breakage of 6 bonds and formation of 6 bonds. This reaction involves breakage of 6 bonds and formation of 6 bonds. But this one, it involves breakage of 8 bonds and formation of 8 bonds. NO plus O2 gives rise to 2NO2. 2NO plus O2 gives rise to NO2. Here 2 bonds are there between nitrogen and oxygen, but 2 moles of nitric oxide is there. Then total 4 bonds. Between oxygen atoms, 2 bonds are there. Then total number of bonds between the reactants, 6. In case of product, 2 plus 1, 3 bonds, but 2 moles of NO2 is there. Then total 6 bonds. So this first reaction involves cleavage of 6 bonds and formation of 6 bonds, whereas the second reaction, it involves that second reaction involves CH4, 4 bonds are there. 2 moles of O2, 4 bonds. Total 8 bonds are there. 4 plus 4, 8 bonds are there. In products, CO2, C double bond, O double bond. Here 4 bonds. Here in H2O, 2 bonds are there, but 2 moles of H2O is there. Here 4 bonds, here also 4 bonds, then total 8 bonds are there. Total 8 bonds are there. This first reaction involves cleavage of 6 bonds and formation of 6 bonds. But second reaction involves cleavage of 8 bonds, formation of 8 bonds. So when compared to first reaction, second reaction is slow reaction. Both are covalent reactions only. Both are covalent reactions. In case of covalent reactions, reactions involving more number of bond cleavages and more number of bond formations are slower than covalent reactions involving less number of bond cleavages and less number of bond formations. If you take ionic reaction and covalent reaction, ionic reaction is faster than covalent reaction. Ionic reactions are faster than covalent reactions. If you take two covalent reactions, then covalent reactions involving more number of bond cleavages and more number of bond formations are slower than covalent reactions involving less number of bond cleavages and less number of bond formations. So rate of reaction depends on chemical nature of the reactants. Next, second factor, concentration of the reactants. Concentration of the reactants. Rate of reaction depends on concentration of the reactants also. If we take zinc plus HCl, when zinc metal is dipped in hydrogen chloride, ZnCl2 plus hydrogen gas will be liberated. This is dilute HCl. ZnCl2 plus hydrogen gas will be liberated. Instead of dilute HCl, if we take concentrated HCl, ZnCl2 plus hydrogen gas, when compared to first reaction, in second reaction hydrogen gas will be liberated fast. When compared to first reaction, in case of second reaction, hydrogen gas will be liberated fast because here we have taken concentrated hydrogen chloride. This is dilute HCl, this is concentrated HCl. That means rate of reaction depends on concentration of the reactants, except for zero order reactions. This is except for zero order reactions. What are zero order reactions and what is order of reaction? We will discuss in next classes. This zero order reaction means we will discuss later. So rate of reaction, rate is directly proportional to concentration of the reactants power n. Rate of reaction is directly proportional to concentration of reactants power n. Here this n is order of reaction. So rate is directly proportional to concentration. I am taking C power n. Rate is directly proportional to concentration of reactants power n. Rate is equal to some constant, proportionality constant. I am taking K into C power n. Rate is equal to K into C power n. Here this K is rate constant. K is rate constant. N is order of the reaction. N is order of the reaction. We will discuss later what is order of reaction. For gaseous reactions, instead of concentration, we can take pressure. Rate is directly proportional to pressure of the reactants power n. Rate is directly proportional to P power n. For gaseous reactions, instead of concentration, we can take pressure. Then rate is equal to some constant K into P power n. Rate is equal to K into P power n. K is rate constant, P is pressure, n is order of the reaction. Next, third factor. Factors affecting on rate of reaction. First factor is chemical nature of the reactants. Second factor is concentration of the reactants. Next, third factor is temperature. Temperature. This is very important factor. Rate of reaction depends on temperature. As temperature increases, kinetic energy of the reactants increases. As temperature increases, kinetic energy of the reactants increases. The rate of reaction increases. As temperature increases, kinetic energy of the reactants increases. Then rate of reaction increases. According to Arrhenius, K is equal to A into e power minus EA by RT. This is called Arrhenius equation. This is Arrhenius equation. K is equal to A into e power minus EA by RT. This K is rate constant. K is rate constant. A is just simply constant or frequency factor. K is rate constant. A is constant or frequency factor. EA is activation energy. EA is activation energy. R is gas constant. R is gas constant. T is absolute temperature. T is absolute temperature. K is equal to A into e power minus EA by RT. K is rate constant, A is constant or frequency factor, EA is activation energy, R is gas constant, T is absolute temperature. This EA is activation energy. Even this one also we will discuss later, but briefly I will explain what is activation energy. See, according to collision theory, for a chemical reaction to occur, collisions will occur between reactants. Collisions takes place between the reactants. Those reacting molecules must possess minimum energy to form the products. Those reacting molecules must possess a minimum energy to form the products. That minimum energy is called threshold energy. That minimum energy is called threshold energy. But at normal conditions, energy of the reactants is less than the threshold energy. At normal conditions, energy of the reactants is less than threshold energy. If we take one reaction, these are the reactants. ER means energy of the reactants, energy of the products. Reactants are converted into the products. Threshold energy means to form the products, reactants must possess a minimum energy, means this much of energy, total this much of energy. This is ET. threshold energy. But at normal conditions, energy of reactants is less. Only this much is there. To form the products or to cross this energy barrier, this much more amount of energy is required. This energy is called activation energy. To form the products, reactants must possess minimum this much of energy, threshold energy. But at normal conditions, energy of reactants is only this much. Still this much of energy is required. So this energy is called activation energy. So activation energy is equal to threshold energy minus energy of normal molecules. Activation energy is equal to ET means threshold energy minus energy of normal molecules. Just I have explained here briefly. Again we will discuss in collision theory about this activation energy. So this is Arrhenius equation, K is equal to A into e power minus EA by RT. If we take logarithm for that equation, log K is equal to log A minus EA by RT. If we take logarithm, common logarithm for this equation, log K is equal to ln K. Ln K is equal to ln A, this E exponential form, E and ln will get cancelled, minus EA by RT. Log K is equal to log A minus EA by RT. Log K is equal to log A plus minus EA by R into 1 by T. Same equation I wrote like this. Ln K is equal to ln A plus minus EA by R into 1 by T. I am taking this is as first equation. Convert this natural logarithm into common logarithm. 2.303 log K is equal to 2.303 log A plus minus EA by R into 1 by T. Just convert this natural logarithm into common logarithm. For that we should multiply with 2.303. Then log K is equal to log A plus minus EA by 2.303 R into 1 by T. Log K is equal to log A plus minus EA by 2.303 R into 1 by T. I am taking this is as second equation. This is first equation, this is second equation. See this first equation. This is similar to y is equal to mx plus c. This equation is similar to y is equal to mx plus c. In that y is equal to mx plus c equation, m is slope, c is y-intercept. If we plot the graph between log k and 1 by t, by taking log k on y-axis, 1 by t on x-axis, ln k on y-axis, 1 by t on x-axis, will get this straight line. Slope of this line is minus EA by R. In y is equal to mx plus c equation, slope is m. Here slope is minus EA by R. Minus EA by R. Y-intercept, this is y-intercept. Y-intercept is ln A. Slope is equal to minus EA by R. This EA is activation energy. Minus EA by, this R value in calories 2. Minus EA by 2. Minus EA by 2. So here slope gives activation energy. Slope gives activation energy. Y-intercept gives frequency factor. Here slope gives activation energy. Y-intercept gives frequency factor. If graph is plotted between log k and 1 by t, here graph is plotted between ln k and 1 by t, log k and 1 by t. Even this equation also similar to y is equal to mx plus c by taking log k on y axis, 1 by t on x axis, will get one straight line. Its slope is equal to minus EA by 2.303 r. Here y-intercept is log a. So here in this graph, slope gives activation energy, y-intercept gives frequency factor. At two different temperatures, this equation can be written as at two different temperatures. At two different temperatures, T1 and T2. At two different temperatures, T1 and T2, this Arrhenius equation can be written as log K1 is equal to log A minus EA by RT1. At T1 Kelvin temperature, log K1 is equal to log A minus EA by RT1. At T2 Kelvin temperature, log K2 is equal to log A minus EA by RT1. Here remaining all are constants. First equation, second equation. Then 2 minus 1. Second equation minus first equation. 2 minus 1. Log K2 minus log K1 is equal to, this log A will get cancelled, minus EA by RT2 minus EA by RT2 minus of minus plus EA by RT1. Log K2 minus log K1. Log A minus log B formula, log A by B. Log A minus log B, log A by B, log K2 by K1 is equal to, here EA by R is common. EA by R is common. 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. Log K2 by K1 is equal to EA by R into, here LCM is T1 T2, then T2 minus T1 by T1 T2. At two different temperatures, Arrhenius equation can be written as log K2 by K1. Log means this is natural log. Ln K2 by K1 is equal to EA by R into T2 minus T1 by T1 T2. Or we can write log K2 by K1 is equal to EA by 2.303 R into T2 minus T1 by T1 T2. This is also Arrhenius equation. This is very important formula. Third factor is, as temperature increases, rate of reaction increases. As temperature increases, kinetic energy of the reactants increases. Then number of collisions increases, therefore rate of reaction increases. In most of the chemical reactions, rate of reaction becomes double for every 10 degrees centigrade rise in temperature. In most of the chemical reactions, rate of reaction becomes double for every 10 degrees centigrade rise in temperature. Rate of reaction or rate constant of reaction increases for every 10 degrees centigrade rise in temperature. Temperature coefficient mu, the ratio between two rate constants determines at two different temperatures which differ by 10 degrees centigrade is called temperature coefficient. The ratio between two rate constants determines at two different temperatures which differ by 10 degrees centigrade is called temperature coefficient. The ratio between two rate constants determines at two different temperatures which differ by 10 degrees centigrade is called temperature coefficient. The ratio between two rate constants determined at two different temperatures which differ by 10 degrees centigrade is called temperature coefficient, denoted by mu. Mu is equal to K T plus 10 degrees centigrade divided by K T degrees centigrade. Temperature coefficient mu is equal to, this K means rate constant at T plus 10 degrees centigrade divided by rate constant at T degrees centigrade. For example, if we take temperatures 30 degrees centigrade and 20 degrees centigrade, then mu is equal to K 30 degrees centigrade divided by K 20 degrees centigrade. K 30 degrees centigrade divided by K 20 degrees centigrade. Mu is equal to rate constant at 30 degrees centigrade divided by rate constant at 20 degrees centigrade. For most of the reactions, this mu value is 2. For most of the reactions, mu value is 2. Mu value is 2 means the rate of reaction or rate constant of reaction doubles for every 10 degrees centigrade rise in temperature. Mu value is 2 means in most of the reactions, rate of reaction becomes double or rate constant of reaction becomes double for every 10 degrees centigrade rise in temperature. In some reactions, it is 3 also, but in few reactions only. So, at two different temperatures, T1 and T2, KT1 by KT2 by KT1 is equal to mu per delta T by 10. Rate constant at T2 Kelvin temperature divided by rate constant at T1 Kelvin temperature is equal to mu power delta T by 10. This mu means temperature coefficient. Delta T means temperature difference. Mu power T2 minus T1 by 10. For most of the reactions, this mu value is 2. See, for example, in a given reaction, mu value is given 2. In a given reaction, temperature coefficient is 2. Next, rate constant at 30 degrees centigrade is K. Rate constant rate constant at 30 degrees centigrade is K. Then rate constant at 60 degrees centigrade is how much? It is given like this. For a given reaction, temperature coefficient is 2. Then rate constant at 30 degrees centigrade is K. Then what is the rate constant at 60 degrees centigrade? By using this formula directly we can calculate KT2 by KT1 is equal to this mu value is 2. 2 power delta T by 10. Temperature difference 60 minus 30 divided by 10 is equal to 2 power 30 by 10, 3. Then KT2 is equal to KT1 into 8. Given that temperature rate constant at temperature 30 degrees centigrade is K, then at 60 degrees centigrade how much? At 60 degrees centigrade it is 8 times of that T1 temperature. It increases 8 times. Otherwise we can solve like this also. At 30 degrees centigrade it is K. At 30 degrees centigrade it is K. At 40 degrees centigrade, for every 10 degrees centigrade rise in temperature, rate of the reaction or rate constant of the reaction becomes double. So it becomes 2K. At 50 degrees centigrade, it becomes double, 4K. At 60 degrees centigrade, it becomes double, 8K. At 30 degrees centigrade, rate constant is given K. Then at 60 degrees centigrade, how much? 8K. Otherwise, we can use this formula. This is third factor. Still 3 more factors are there. Next lecture I will complete that.